Hi everyone, welcome to the third section of this lesson. In the first and second section, we looked at how to write Ansible Playbook. We looked at the step-by-step guide of how to do this. We looked at different modules, we looked at different arguments, and we wrote two different playbooks. We wrote my first playbook. We also wrote my second playbook. And we said that in the next lesson, we're going to look at how to run Ansible playbooks, which is this lesson. So, of course, the essence of writing the playbook is to run it. And to run a playbook, you need to use this command, which is Ansible playbook, the playbook name. So you can see that it is a very simple command to use when you want to run your playbook. But it is always also good to check your code to see if the syntax in your playbook file is correct. It is a very good idea to always do that. And to check if your syntax is correct, just use the command Ansible-playbook, the playbook name, and this option which is -- syntax check. This will check if your code is correct or not. And if it is not correct, then you can correct your code. And if it is correct, of course, you can just use this command to run your playbook. So it's just always advisable to do a playbook syntax error check before you run a playbook. So let's run the second playbook that we wrote in the previous lesson. So let's change directory to Ansible, and here this is the second playbook that we wrote. Like I said, always do a playbook syntax check. It's always very important to do that. So we're going to do Ansible playbook. The name of the playbook is my second playbook.yml. Then we can do -- syntax check. Alright, so we can't see any error here. You can see the output of this command, which is saying playbook. The name of the playbook is my second playbook.yml. So this means that our syntax is correct. So let me just edit something here so you can see the kind of output you would see, so that you can see the kind of output when you have an error in your syntaxes or in your code. So I'm just going to edit something in my second playbook.yml. So for example, let's remove just going to put hash here. So I'm going to comment this. So I'm just I'm going to remove this host here, and let's save this file. So let's run the playbook syntax check again. So you can see an error. You can say error, the field host is required but was not set. So you can see different errors. You can begin to see different errors if your syntax is not correct. So I'm going to just correct this. I'm going to remove the hash sign and make it normal. And I'm going to run the syntax check again. So you can see that our playbook is correct. The code is fine. So let's run the playbook. Don't forget what this playbook will do. This playbook will automate the task of the HTTPD service. Let's see this playbook again. This is my second playbook.yml. So this is what the playbook will do. It will install and start enable the HTTPD. That's the first play on hqs.dev1.technic.com, and it's also going to start and enable HTTPD. These are the tasks. It's going to allow the HTTP firewall. It's going to create a secondary Aperture server. Yeah, so we wrote this playbook in the previous lesson. So let's run this playbook. So I'm going to just remove the syntax check, and I'm going to use the command to run the playbook, which is the Ansible-playbook, my second playbook.yml. Alright. Okay, you can see the first play, which is install, start, and enable HTTPD. It's gathering facts on this host, which is hqs.dev1.technic.com. So we're going to look at what facts is as we go on in this course. You understand why this playbook or why the Ansible control node is gathering the facts. So you can see the first task, which is install HTTPD. So it is installing HTTPD on this node. So provided we have the necessary, okay, you can see changed here. So which means that it has installed it on this node. Don't forget I said color matters. This yellow color means that there's a change, and it was of course a successful change. And you can see the, oh, this is fast. All right, so it's done. So you can see the second task, which we named. That's why I always say that you should always name your task. I mean, it's very good. Name your place, name your task. You can easily troubleshoot when you do that. For example, if there's an error here, you will know that, okay, the error is in this task name, which is start and enable HTTPD. So you can see that we also have a change here. You can see the color, which is yellow. So it has started and enabled HTTPD on hqsdev1.technique.com. Of course, like I said, it has also installed. So you can see the automation process. It is installing first, and then just the way we arranged it in the playbook, that's how it's going to do it for you. So it's also starting and enabling the HTTPD, which it has already done. You can see changed, and you can see here allow HTTPD on firewall, and it has done that. You can see changed, and this is the second play, which is this is the second play, which is create a secondary Aperture user, and this is the task gathering facts on local host. So you can see that this is green because we've already done something on the local host before, so it has already gathered the facts before. Like I said, when you see a color green, of course the operation is successful, but there was no change, and that's why we're having color green. So when we get to the lesson, the managing and creating fact lesson, you understand what this is. But just because this Ansible software has already gathered a fact on this node before, that's why it's green. So there is no any change. Unlike, let's see. Okay, so you can even see that on hqsdev1.technique.com, it's also green. So it must have gathered the fact there too before. So you can see this task, which is create an Aperture user. This is changed, so it has also done that. And you can see the play recap. So it's telling you that this is just a recap. On hqsdev1.technique.com, you have okay for change. We have 3 changes. Unreachable equals 0, so we can reach everything. Field equals 0, of course. No operations failed. Skipped equals 0. No operations were skipped. Rescued equals 0. No operations were rescued. Ignored equals 0. We did not ignore any operation. So this has been done. This is just a play recap on hqsdev1.technique.com, and also a play recap on localhost. So don't forget that in this same playbook, we told Ansible to work on hqsdev1.technique.com and on localhost, and this is how you can interpret changes when you run a playbook. This is how you can always interpret your playbook. So this is the automation process. We've been able to install HTTPD. We've been able to start and enable HTTPD. Unlike when you do this manually, you just have to go and you do yum install HTTPD, systemctl start or enable or dash now HTTPD, and then you have to do your firewall -cmd and do all of that. But this is what Ansible can do. It can automate your task for you. And one thing about automation, like I used to tell new people, I used to tell newbies that are just coming into the automation and orchestration world, like I used to say that before you can actually automate or orchestrate a task, you should be well grounded on that thing. Because if you're not well grounded, you cannot do it. You should know what you want to do before you want to automate it. For example, I want to install HTTPD. Of course, I will need to, if I want to start HTTPD, of course, I will need to install HTTPD first. So if HTTPD is not installed, I cannot start and enable HTTPD. So I will not go and write a playbook that will first start and enable HTTPD, and I will not say afterward install HTTPD. If I write such playbook, if HTTPD was never installed, I'm going to have an error, and if I have an error, this will not work. So you should know what you're doing. You should know the process already. When you know a thing, or when you know a technology or a feature, then you will know how to automate that feature or technology. But if you don't know anything about it, you cannot. Of course, what do you want to automate? You don't know what to automate. You cannot automate it. By the time you begin to write a playbook, you will begin to write nonsense. So automation requires that you know your stuff. You just want to do your stuff in a very fast way, in a very convenient way, and that is what automation is. So I hope I've been able to, like when I was in secondary school, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse. I'm not confuse you. So let's verify our playbook. Let's see what we've done, and to do that, you can use the Ansible ad hoc. So we've learned about the Ansible ad hoc. So I can say Ansible on hqsdev1.technit.com argument. I can say systemctl status httpd. So let's see what we have here. Alright, so you can see that httpd is installed and it is active and running. It is started, and you can also see that it is enabled. So that is that for httpd. We can also confirm for our local host. Don't forget that on the local host we created a user Aperture user 1. So I can say on localhost, I can say id Aperture user 1. Alright, so you can see that the user has also been created. This is the Aperture user 1, and the user is in the wheel group. Another thing you can do, if you don't want to use the Ansible ad hoc to verify, if you have access to the system, you can just SSH into the system. So for example, I can say SSH root at hqsdev1.technit.com, and I'm going to put in the password, and I can say systemctl status httpd. So right now I'm in hqsdev1. Alright, so I can check the status of httpd. So you can see that httpd is active and it is running. Alright, so let's look at something else again, which is Ansible Playbook dry run. So what is Ansible Playbook dry run? You can also do an Ansible dry run before running a playbook. So a dry run is like a blank run, like you're just you're running a playbook, but you're not actually running that playbook. You just want to know if that playbook will be successful or not. But anyway, sometimes dry run might, depending on the kind of playbook or on the kind of task you want to automate, you might also be deceived by a dry run. But most of the time, some people usually do a dry run before running the playbook. So it just depends on your scenario. It depends on your environment. A dry run is just like a dummy run, just to verify if the playbook you would run or if the task you want to run is going to be a successful one or not. And to do the dry run, you just use this command: Ansible-playbook, the name of the playbook, -c. This would do a dry run. So let's do a dry. Oh, we should have done the dry run before actually running our playbook. But then let's also do a dry run on our playbook. So I'm just going to clear the screen, and I'm going to do Ansible playbook, the name of the playbook, and dash, that's option uppercase C. So let's see what we're gonna have here. You can see the dry run is just behaving as if it's running the playbook, but it's not actually running the playbook. It's just verifying if your playbook will be successful when you run the playbook. So you see, it's just taking, you know, the dimension as if it's running the playbook, but it's not. You can see this dry run. You can see what we're having here. You can see, so it's telling you that when you install the HTTPD, is already installed. This is what you're going to get. When you start and enable HTTPD on, this is what you're going to get. So it's all green. Like I always tell you, Ansible is idempotent. You can always run the playbook as many times as possible. When we ran the first playbook, you can see the color. We saw the yellow color, which means that there was a change. And like I've always told you, when you see a green color, of course the operation is successful, but we don't have changes. Those changes are there before, and that's why you're seeing green. So let's run this Ansible playbook. Let's run this my second playbook.yml again. So let's see. This time around we're running the playbook and we're not doing a dry run. So let's see what we're gonna have here. Alright, so it's installing HTTPD. We should have the green color, which means that it has already been installed. Okay, so you see we are having the green colors, so these changes are already there before. So this is how you're going to run a playbook. We've looked at how to write a playbook, and now we've looked at how to run a playbook. So this is the basics and the fundamental of how to write and run a playbook. I'm so happy I've been able to cover this, because in the next lesson we begin to see playbook in different dimensions. We begin to look at the various variables, how to include variables and how to include facts, how to do looping, how to do rows, and etc. But when you know this, then of course you will be able to grab the other lessons that we're going to be talking about, because this is just a basic way of how to write a playbook. So thank you for watching, and please, like I always say, when you subscribe, you're gonna help us to do more. You're going to encourage us to do more. So please subscribe, share, also share the videos, comment. Yeah, we want to see your comments, and like. We want to see your likes. Like our videos. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.